What's up, YouTube? The Universal Gamer here, speaking to you guys, giving you guys my top games of the year, including Game of the Year, separated in a lot of different categories. So, we're gonna go ahead and get this bad boy started. First off, we got RPG Game of the Year, 2011, and the game that wins that RPG game slot of the year is Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. No doubt about that. No brainer. It's a no brainer. This game you can play this game for 100 hours and not even experience half of the quest, half of the locations, half of the items, weapons, potions, powers, shouts, and still have so much to do. Not even been experienced half of it, maybe even half. But half of the game in 100 hours. That means you still got another 100 hours to go. I'm about 60 hours into it. Would have been more than that, but a lot of you guys know why. Next up, first person shooter game of the year, 2011. A lot of people was, raving about how Battlefield 3 and Modern Warfare 3 was going to be Clash of the Titans for this year for a first person shooter game of the year on a lot of people's games of the year, like IGN games of the year, Game Trailers games of the year, Spike TV games of the year. But neither Modern Warfare 3 nor Battlefield won my first person shooter game of the year this year. My first person shooter game of the year is Resistance 3. Why? Because Resistance 3 was 5 times better than Resistance 1, 5 times better than Resistance 2. Hell, it was better than Resistance 1 and Resistance 2 put together with a cherry on top and with whipped cream and with a side of chocolate milk and regular milk and strawberry milk. That's how good Resistance 3 is. I'm about 90% of the way through Resistance 3. Can't play no games for another 2 weeks. This is why. But Resistance 3 is a beast of a game. The only downfall I got about the Resistance 3, the only thing is that the textures are kind of blurry a little bit on some areas, and it's kind of dull. Like don't have that sharp pop to it like a lot of these games these days on current gen consoles. But other than that, the design of the game, the gameplay, the feeling the game gave me, that game is legit. One of the best first-person shooter games I've played this year. That's why it takes the first-person shooter game slot of this year, 2011. The game surprised the heck out of me. Didn't think it was going to be that good. Next up, puzzle game of the year. Got to get at the Portal 2. Now, a lot of people may be pondering and rubbing their beard and scratching their head like, Portal 2 isn't a puzzle game. Portal 2 is a puzzle game. There's so many different puzzle obstacles you got to figure out, and it's so much fun going through that game in co-op. So, Portal 2 take best puzzle game of 2011 game of the year. Best action adventure game of the year. It was a race between Uncharted 3 and Batman Arkham City, and I gotta give it to Uncharted 3. Best action adventure game of the year. Naughty Dog does a hella fine good job at their Uncharted series. Their new game they're coming out with, OMG. I think that's how. I'm not going to touch on that. I will take it to my Universal Gamer update. But Uncharted 3, OMG. Best action adventure game of the year, hands down. Third person shooter game of the year, Gears of War 3. I got to give it to Gears of War 3. It's hard for games these days to, especially on the current gen consoles, their third sequel or fourth or fifth sequel, usually their third sequel is when they start showing age. Games like Resistance and Gears of War, Epic and Zomniac, they're doing a good job at their sequels. Gears of War 3 don't suck by a long shot, and it's not the same as Gears of War 1 and 2. Better story, bigger games, better weapons, and it keep advancing and making you want to play them more and more into the series. Same with Resistance 3, make you want to play more and more within the series. Resistance 3, they did. Oh, I can't wait to talk about this game. It's not my Universal Gamer update coming up later on this week. But oh my God, Resistance 3, man. But like I said, Gears of War 3 get best third-person shooter game of the year, 2011. Best party game of the year, Dance Central. Hands down, all the Dance Central games. Best party game of the year. Played a little bit of Dance Central, didn't play that much when it came out. Don't gotta connect, that's why, but by far it's better than Rock Band as far as having a party and inviting people over and having fun. First, Rock Band used to be the best party game, but now I gotta give it to Dance Central. Dance Central coming in and kicking ass and taking names. Best party game of the year, Dance Central. Best survival horror game of the year, 2011. That goes to Dead Space 2. First off, games like Dead Space and Penumbra, and Amnesia and stuff like that. That's all the horror games. There's really no other horror games that been coming out, So I think a lot of these developers step up and make more horror games, because horror games starting to fall through the cracks of being a game genre. So I think they need to step up the horror game genre quickly, because it's starting to die out. So Dead Space 2 get the best survival horror game of the year 2011. Okay, best co-op game mode in a game. That goes to Modern Warfare 3 Spec Ops / survival mode. Now, I have to say, this is by far the best survival mode I ever played. It is better than Gears of War 3 Horde mode. I gotta say it. Gears of War 3 Horde mode did something special too, where you build up your rank, but Modern Warfare 3 Spec Ops / survival mode barely won, because it's just so dynamic. Like, you have your own rank in multiplayer. You go into Spec Ops and survival. You have a whole, you gotta understand, Spec Ops was inside Modern Warfare 2 and stuff like that, and it was just Spec Ops. Spec Ops was so much fun. People spent so many hours trying to collect all the stars. Not only do you get Spec Ops, which you can play co-op, you get survival mode, which has your own rank. You rank up and unlock better airstrikes, air support, guns, attachments, and stuff like that, as if you're playing single player with your rank. You got your own separate rank in co-op. By far the best co-op experience this year, and I gotta honestly say, for the people that don't like Call of Duty, I know some of you guys out there that watch my videos faithfully, but you don't play Call of Duty. I'm pretty sure 100% that if you play Call of Duty Spec Ops in survival mode, you will love that. You may not like the multiplayer or the story, but I guarantee you, I'm going to put any money down that you will love Modern Warfare 3 survival mode and Spec Ops. So that's why it took the slot as best co-op game mode of the year. Okay, next up, best platformer of the year. That goes to Mario 3DS. Need I say more? There's a lot of other games that came out this year. There's some super good platformers and stuff like that came out for the arcade and stuff like that, but I have to give it to Mario 3DS. That game took Mario World, Super Mario 1 on Nintendo, Super Mario 64, Super Mario Galaxy, and crammed them all together, put it in 3D, and put it in the palm of your hands. That's exactly what the game is. All those games put together, and Super Mario 3. All those games put together. If you love Super Mario 3, love Super Mario 1 on regular Nintendo, love Super Mario World, Super Mario 64, and Super Mario Galaxy, there's no way in hell you would not like Super Mario 3DS. The only downfall I have is that Nintendo would have sold hundreds of thousands of more units if they would have shipped that game with the 3DS. Hands down. No more said. There's nothing else I can say about that. So best platformer game of the year 2011 is Mario 3DS. Best handheld game of the year, Zelda Ocarina of Time. Now I know you guys, a lot of people tried to talk down on this game. Whenever you can take a game that was one of the best adventure games ever made for its time, and still now, it can stand up to a lot of these adventure games, put it where you can play anywhere you go, and looks 5 times or even 10 times better than the original, and plays in 3D, and have a mode where you unlock once you beat the game, where everything is harder and it feels different all the way around. That's impressive, just to play Ocarina of Time in the palm of your hand, and it looks way better than the old one. Way better, I'm telling you guys, way better. If you don't believe me, go check out the comparison videos people have on YouTube. Those are real comparisons. That's how good the game looks. It looks actually that good. Okay, best racer game of the year, Forza Motorsports 4. Almost couldn't say that. Forza Motorsports 4 for the Xbox 360. Because it's an Xbox 360 exclusive. Every time I've been seeing like racing games, Gran Turismo always look the best. But from what I've been seeing and what I've been, experiencing, Motorsports 4 takes the cake for best racer game of the year, hands down. There's other racer games that came out and stuff like that, but I still think this game takes the cake as far as, a good simulator racer and stuff like that, and just best racer game all around. Okay, next up, adventure game of the year. And that goes to Elder Scrolls V Skyrim again. Best adventure game of the year. RPG and adventure game is two different type of categories. A lot of people put them inside the same categories, but it's different. It's different categories. RPG is different between adventure, even though it's kind of like the same type stuff almost. Some of you guys get what I'm saying. But, best adventure game of the year goes to Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Okay. Last but not least, game of the year. Now, I know a lot of people didn't like the VGA's game of the year, what they chose. A lot of people, chose saying it should be Arkham City for game of the year. My game of the year choice is Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. The only people that have been complaining saying that this game don't deserve game of the year have never played Elder Scrolls V Skyrim yet. This game has so many different stories within it. You can spend hours among hours of playing doing different quests without even touching the main quest yet, which is about 90 hours long. You can go dungeon hunting. You can do whatever you want inside this game. This game is humongous. Dragons swooping down. It's amazing how they put this on the PS3 and 360. And even though I had problems on the PS3 and 360, still with those problems, putting a big game like that on a console, on the current gen consoles of how they've been for the past 5 years, on something that's been for a piece of tech that's been out for over 5 years, that's more than pretty impressive. That is impressive, So Elder Scrolls V Skyrim takes the cake as game of the year, best RPG game of the year, and best adventure game of the year, hands down. So whoever don't agree with me, you just don't agree. Obviously, you haven't played Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, So with that said, it's been your boy New Cybot, the Universal Gamer. As you can see, I'm recovering pretty well. Thank you guys for your support, and I'm out. Peace.